Coach Driving Diaries number 9. So today I'm on a London transfer. This is one of our holidays, London Valentine's weekender, staying at the St Giles Hotel. But it's there's no itinerary for us. All they do is they go to London, they do what they want for the weekend. So what I'm doing basically is driving to London to the hotel, drop them off, check them in, and then drive back empty to the yard. But that doesn't start till later on, so first I'm doing a school run. So I'm up at pretty much the normal time, 5:45 in the morning, and then the usual, get ready, by now, have coffee, breakfast, etc. So at the yard, get the keys and turn the coach on, put that heating on as well. Then put my card in, do a manual entry, as I always do, to show I've had rest between the last time I took the card out, which in the case was just gone 5:20 yesterday, and starting at just before 7 AM today. And then go and do the walk round check. Now I have one of these hats that's got the LED light on. This is handy for doing the walk round check in the dark, especially if you're checking under the wheel arches as well. I used to use a phone before, but it's a bit of faff when you leave it in the cab and you've got to get it, etc. And it's just easy with a hat, as you can see. It does light up the area very well. So after I'd done the checks, filled out the book, etc., I left the yard a bit earlier because I wanted to get to the start point before the school run to get a 15-minute break in. So I am now just putting the tacho on. This has just helped me with my hours later on the way to London. So I'm hoping that I just need a 30 en route, and that should cover me then. So I'm about to set off on the school run, so just putting it onto other work now. I can also check how much I've had for break, if my 15 minutes is up or not. You can see on the top right there, it's telling me 18 minutes, so I'm well within my 15-minute break, and it's banked it into the system. So skipping ahead now, because obviously I'm not going to film the school route or school run, but stopped off at Wiltshire on the way through to Trowbridge, pick up a Greggs, a mandatory sausage roll and latte. And then here we are at Trowbridge, the start point for the London tour. Just doing a check through. Everything was all fine inside anyway, all good to go. And then put my tacho on break, so I can bank at least a 30-minute break. Turned out to be about 45 minutes anyway, but nonetheless, my tacho is restarted, so I'm hoping to do here to just the outskirts of London in my 4.5 hours. So we set off from here at 10 AM and then headed off for the next stop in Trowbridge before heading out to Westbury for a pick-up there, and then heading out through Dilton Marsh, Standerwick, down through Barclay, Clink Road into Frome for a pick-up there, heading past the station out towards Causley Heath to join the A326, and then onto the 303 past Stonehenge into Countess Services, and that was our last pickup. And heading back on the 303 onto the M3 and then into Fleet Services to give the passengers a break. So I gave them 20 minutes here, just enough to use the facilities and get anything to eat and drink as well. I went in to get a coffee just to keep me going. And then heading back to the coach, and then we set off on our way now to London. So from here we went back up the M3, up onto the M25, and then off on the M4 and the A4, heading towards London, but coming off at Hammersmith. Start heading north, up to Hammersmith Green, hang a right there, up to Shepherd's Bush, past Westfield Centre, heading up to the A40, and then on the A40 going eastbound, coming over Paddington, Edgware Road, along the A501 to Warren Street, and then it's just dropping down onto Gower Street, down to Bedford Square, and then into Bedford Street, which is where the hotel is. So there we are, just dropped off and about to head out now. I did wonder why there was cars coming out of this road. I can see why now, because without no warning, the road to the right is closed, and that's supposed to be the one-way system back out to Bedford Square. So, as I say, there was no road here closed signs or anything. So, the only way I thought of easily doing this was just to slowly and carefully back out onto the road behind. Wasn't exactly a busy road anyway. There was only a couple of cars. One stopped behind just to drop someone off. So I was just minding that car. But otherwise, yeah, easily done. No problems. Also recently I've done my CPC training and got my new card that has arrived. I thought I'd do a bit of talking about the CPC as we head out of London. You might be thinking, what is the CPC? Because I don't think I've really mentioned it on this channel before. I could probably spend make a good hour's video just going in depth, but basically CPC stands for Certificate of Professional Competence. It's something that HGV, LGV and PCV drivers would hold if you're doing paid work, basically hire and reward, which is what I do. Obviously, which is the basics of any bus or coach company. Obtaining your CPC, you do this as part of your test, which is how I got my initial CPC, because the test is part of basically you do 4 modules to get your license and your driver's CPC. It's the CPC, you get a card that's called driver qualification card, that's valid for 5 years. But you do take continual training as well. It's not something you do as part of your test. You have to do it afterwards, throughout any time that, for like myself, it's driving coaches. So in the 5 years you do have to do 35 hours of training within the 5 years. So most people will, usually truck drivers maybe, might have a week off somewhere, they'll do a whole week of training. So it's 7 hours you do for 5 days, or they do 5 days straight, to add up 35, and then that's it. They don't need to do one until another 5 years. The way we do it, our company provides the CPC courses, or books courses for us. They don't have to. Some companies will have the drivers pay and organise their own courses, but we do it annually. So each year we do 7 hours on one day, usually about this sort of time, January, February time. And then after 5 years, obviously that's added up to 35 hours, and then you get a renewal, you get a new card that's valid for another 5 years, and you do the whole 35 hours of training again. Training can vary subjects wise. You can do one on driver's hours, fire training, safety, road safety and efficient driving, which is one I done, and first aid was attached to that as the second part as well. That one I did online. Sometimes you do classroom courses as well, but you can do it online. It's actually cheaper if you do it in an online course. But there is no, when I say a test, training, you don't have to fill out questionnaire forms. There's no ABC questionnaires to fill out and all that sort of stuff. The way you pass is just through attendance, really. As long as you're there for 7 hours, you've passed. Whether you get any answers right or wrong doesn't really matter, believe it or not. It's usually just the trainer would explain situations. You might have videos, slideshows to watch and all that sort of stuff, but he might ask you a question about, what would you do in this scenario. Whether you answer it right or wrong isn't really part of whether you pass or not. It's worth being engaged anyway, just to stay alert. There are times when people have done these courses, they've sort of nodded off. But yeah, attendance is the key thing. So, as I say, you will have a card. I'll put an example up on the screen now. This is just one of the demonstration cards that's used. You can see online. The date's wrong because it says it's valid 10 years, but that's not correct. Your date would be in a period of 5 years. And you do have to carry this card with you at work at all times, otherwise it is a £50 fine if you are stopped and you don't have your DQC card with you. And of course, if you are doing this sort of work, private hire work or service work, paid work, and you don't have a DQC, you've not actually done any CPC courses at all, that's a £1,000 fine, and that would affect the operator for the person you're working for as well. But, so yeah, that's just the basics of what the CPC and the CPC course is about. So we are now coming round the Hammersmith Gyratory and up to the notorious Hammersmith Yellow Box Junction. You may or may not have heard of this. It's been in the media of various forms, local newspapers, etc. But this does accumulate up to 70 tickets a day, thereabouts. As you can see, it's on a blind corner as well. You can see this car's just about to get hung out to dry there. It suddenly moves lane to get off the box junction. It's difficult in a vehicle this size. A coach or a lorry can easily get caught out here. You do need to check your lane is clear and stays clear. Otherwise, cars can just move into your lane willy-nilly and then hang you out to dry. Which is what you don't want. I haven't had this yet. I do know of coach drivers that have been caught out here. Mostly, again, because cars just jump into the lane. So I can see the lane is clear. Even if a car did pull in front, there's still a long gap for me to run off the box junction as well. So just mind of this place. It's not a nice junction to go around, but luckily I don't go around this bit very often. The flyover you probably saw is the A4 that comes off of Earl's Court. So we're just going round and then we'll be joining the A4 and then heading out onto the M4. And here we are, arriving into Heston Services. Here I take a 45-minute break, so that'll reset my tacho to give me another 4.5 hours of driving time. Really shouldn't take 4.5 hours to get back to the yard. If it does, then there's I've either gone the wrong way or there's been a major problem. Should only be a couple of hours from here to get back home anyway. And while I'm here, obviously getting a Greg's, since there's one here. Having a latte and a chicken bake. So there we are, have the 45. Well, I think I was on break for about 50 minutes, 55 actually, but nonetheless, it's restarted the tacho, that's the main thing. So heading now back out to the M4, just minding these potholes as well. As you can see, get potholes on the way in and out of the services. That also applies to the eastbound services as well. So I come back down the M4 to Chippenham and then the A350 south down to Westbury. So not a bad run back. Only problem is just to have a bit of traffic not far down the road after Heston due to an accident. It's just two lanes open, but otherwise it was a clear run back. Right, so there we are, back at the yard. Just done a quick tidy up through inside. And there we are, clocking off at just past 7:30 p.m. And that brings the end of today's Coach Driving Diaries video. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And like and subscribe as always for more of these types of videos. And until then, I shall see you on the next episode. Okay, take care, thank you, and goodbye.